Tandana Foundation is a nonprofit organization that offers intercultural volunteer opportunities, scholarships, and support for community initiatives in Highland, Ecuador, and Mali Dogon country. Our volunteer programs offer you a chance to be guests rather than tourists in Ecuador and Mali, to form intercultural friendships, and make a difference in the lives of your new friends. Our scholarships allow rural Ecuadorian students to continue their secondary and higher education. Our community initiatives support villagers in Mali and Ecuador as they work toward their dreams. We focus on building relationships with a small set of communities, getting to know who the community members are, what their needs and goals are, and how they get things done. Our projects all come from priorities expressed by the community members. Since 2006, we've been developing relationships with villages in Mali's Dogon country. Through those partnerships, we've supported a lot of projects like wells, grain banks, gardens, carpentry, cotton work, soap making. Women in the villages that we partner with work really hard to farm, cook, collect firewood, draw water from the wells, take care of their children, and thousands of other tasks. But beyond those household responsibilities, they also find time to create their own micro-businesses so they can earn income, like transforming cotton into cloth, making soap, gardening for the market, selling other products they can gather. To help women get credit for those enterprises, we partnered with Vital Edge Aid and Amprode Sahel to bring the Savings for Change program to Bandiagara Circle. Savings for Change is an Oxfam-designed microcredit model based on savings by women in groups. We've also helped women in 3 villages start cotton banks, which give them communal buying power for cotton. We start them off with one large stock of cotton, and then they distribute it to all the women in the village. After they've sold the cloth made from the cotton, they pay for it, and then that provides a fund to restock the bank for the next year. Once they had the cotton bank and the Savings for Change groups, women in the village of Kansongo told us they also wanted to learn how to read and write so that they could keep records for their businesses and be more independent in the market. So there were no literacy books in Tomoso, the local language, so we hired a local linguistic service to translate books from another language into Tomoso to make a literacy booklet and a numeracy booklet. And we also hired them to train a local person to be an instructor. And after women in neighboring villages saw what they were learning in Kansongo, they wanted to participate too. And women in more and more villages have wanted to participate.
Emme manasiya emme elalo wida emme obura.
Emme kingi gine say. Do kwani jangam say.
Janga mago do emme ga mandiye janga wida konto de kon diga say. Diye lambagon.
Wida is too.
If they don't have literacy and numeracy skills, women have to rely on other people to help with basic tasks. As Fatuma Yanoge said, "Before, I needed someone else to read my shoe size." Namata Gudien Kile explained, "Before, I sold with doubts, as I had to trust the weight that the buyer told me. I often asked for help from a person I know to weigh and sell." These women, like over 1,000 other students, have overcome these problems thanks to one session of Tandana's Tomoso literacy classes. But they don't want to stop there. They want to learn more. Thanks to the support of Dining for Women and members like you, they won't have to stop learning. The Women Leap, Literacy Empowerment Awareness Possibilities project will do just that, empower these women with more literacy and greater awareness of their own possibilities. This project will provide an 8-week continuation course in literacy and numeracy for 900 students who have already taken one session of classes. Then, we will create association management and democratic governance booklets in the Tomoso language, and these will be used to train 250 women leaders selected by their peers. The next part is 8 10-day workshops on how to create and lead women's associations, which will make it possible for these leaders to form at least 10 new women's groups. And then these new associations will have the opportunity to submit proposals for funding to invest in their income-generating activities. The goal is to promote women's economic independence and participation in local decision-making in the Bandiagara Circle by improving their literacy, numeracy, and association management skills. After just one session of literacy classes, Ramata Pamatek said, "This has allowed me to calculate my menstrual cycle to prevent births too close together." Fatuma Yanoge said, "I now know how to handle my phone by myself." Namata Guriankile said, "I no longer fear going to sell products such as tamarind fruit at the market in Sangha, because now I can read the numbers on the scale and record the weight of my product to sell." After the second session, students will have even greater independence and more income. And with the training in association management and leadership, they'll be able to organize to promote their collective interests. They'll be able to seek funding from many sources and address government representatives, participating more in local decision-making.
I've been fortunate enough to go to Mali 3 times, and in those 3 years I watched the development of the women there in the village, from being sort of bystanders and watching from afar, so to speak, as these processes went on, about making decisions about projects and working on the projects and all. And they moved on then to participating in that process, and then by the 3rd year they had pretty much established themselves as their own entity. They knew what they wanted. They had the cotton bank. They came together. They asked for literacy lessons, and I think that moment of sitting there with them in their literacy class on the floor with the babies sleeping in their laps, or again on their back with a little tiny piece of slate and an even smaller tiny piece of chalk, learning to write and say their letters, and then to have this year a letter written in their own hand, women that I know and are my friends, writing a letter of thanksgiving for being able to read and write in their own language. That to me is the most meaningful thing I've ever done in my life, been part of.
We invite you to join in this meaningful experience too. Thank you so much for making it possible to empower women in Bandiagara Circle with awareness of their possibilities through literacy and leadership training.